first wrote this song. I was at a festival, which is where most of my music comes from. Everyone was coming to me that weekend telling me their story, their experience, that was the weekend that they were reclaiming their path, that they were reclaiming their sovereignty, that they were reclaiming the divinity within them. And this song started happening, and when I tell you I heard this little hip-hop beat behind it, yeah. It sounds really good in my head. It's not there on the record. It's just... Here we go. Nothing to repent, dear. Nothing to repay. Nothing to be sorry for. You were never broken anyway. Let go what don't serve you and make a joyful sound. You're the goddess walking in this world. You're the goddess walking in this world. Get up and stand your ground. Yeah. They say this world is evil, and you were born in sin. They forgot that truth and lies is the best place to begin. Love is the commandment, and it's the only one that counts. And you're the goddess walking in this world. You're the goddess walking in this world. Get up and stand your ground. That's right. You're the queen of all that's in your grasp. I never want to see you all on your knees, unless it's for your pleasure, child. And then it's anything you please. There is no path before you but the one that you create. So walk that stuff you're talking, girl, and get out of your own way. You can walk the straight and narrow, or you can tread this circle round. Any way you choose, get up and you can't lose. You're the goddess walking in this world. 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 Oh, you're the goddess walking in this world. You're the goddess walking in this world. Get up and stand your ground. Oh, yeah. I promise I'll play some funny stuff in a little bit, but here's the deal. I went through a pretty rough patch about 3 years ago, and it lasted a couple of years. So I wrote a bunch of music reflecting my pain and my sorrow. And I thought I was never going to play that music out anywhere. But I finally got past the pain and the sorrow, and I did start playing the music. And you know what? It's kind of cool inviting everybody to my therapy session. So this is the title track from my newest full-length CD, Firewood and Rust. You're just a broken wagon wheel, only gone so far. Last time you laid down to rest, wound up where you are. There ain't no fixing you and you ain't moving on. The world still turns beneath you like a song. A sad, sad song. You steal the music, but you can't make it on your own. So you tune in to the universe on some old radio. All you get is static in this house that ain't no home. And you wait for someone else to break down real close. A featherweight, knowing a lyric you can't sing, and you're missing everything you had before. A wheel without a wagon, fire without that dragon. You are what you are, and you can't be anymore. Nah, no wheel, it ain't no wheel. Lying in the dust, no all coming back from this firewood and rust. You're the heartbreak in that song you wrote that you can't bear to sing. It reminds you of the love you had. You mixed up everything. Hurts too much to try again, so you ain't gonna let it. You tell them, Ma, you settle down. Baby, you just settled. A featherweight, knowing a lyric you can't sing, and you're missing everything you it ain't no will. Lying in the dust, now all coming back from this firewood and rust. You're just a broken wagon wheel lying in the dust, now all coming back from firewood and rust. No coming back from this firewood and rust. On the bed as she lifted her head, she laughed like a child, but she was no child. I reached for the light and the comfort of night. She gripped my hand and there was fear in her smile. It's black in the void and the nights, they are long. Days what you make it, but the monsters ain't gone. Call me a fool, and I won't see you wrong. Please leave the lights on. She let me take her and she held her own. And then she wept like a child, but this was no child. She might have run or she might have slept, but she stayed in my arms, trembling and wild. There are worlds out there where the sun's never set. I want to die there so I can forget what's under my skin that you have unseen yet. Please leave the light on. "10 days we slept and made love in the light, and then she turned on a smile, but that was no smile. I'm ready to show you what's under my skin. If you're gone in the morning, I'll understand." With that she raised her hand and let the night in. She She shone like the stars, every brand, every scar marked her as a slave. Oh, but she was no slave. A child of pain, she'd fought all the way to land in my arms, cross the stars and light years away. Now we walk the stars, her hand in mine. The path between suns, it's not a straight line. Call me a fool, but I love how she shines when she turns the night on. Yes, it's black in the void and the nights, they are long days. Watch her make it, but the monsters ain't gone. Call me a fool, and I won't see her wrong. Please leave the lights on. I don't write a lot of love songs. In fact, Mama Gina doesn't write love songs, mostly. But the voices in my head, they sure do. This is another one of Ava's songs, She Walks the Stars. And it is a love song from a comet to a dying star. I was all a straight line, never veering from my path. My own light in the dark void, nothing to distract. A heart of ice on fire and every single eye jealous of my freedom as I blazed across the sky. You are golden brilliance and a warmth that radiates, your gravity more tempting than any I would ever taste. Now I'm caught up in your orbit and I'm bending to your form, and I find myself revolving in a circle of your warmth. Hail the sun, that is you in my life, even as you melt this ice away. I become less of me, more of you with each passing day. Hail the sun, I was all a straight line, now you're the center of it all. And I find myself returning, ever turning as I fall, knowing in the falling I am letting go my fear, and our embrace may last a million years. Hail the sun, that is you in my life, even as you melt this ice away. I become less of me, more of you with each passing day. Hail the sun, I was all a straight line, never veering from my path, my own light in the dark void, nothing to distract. Now I'm dancing in your orbit, and I swear I'll never leave. Someday I'll crash into you, and I will cease to be. Hail the sun, that is you in my life, even as you melt this ice away. I become less of me, more of you with each passing day. Hail the sun, hail the sun. Pipelines and parking lots grow faster than the trees that are slowly disappearing with the oxygen we breathe. As she can't change the whole world, she scoops them one by one, moving tiny roots on down the road. Before the back horse comes, you can't do it all yourself now. Don't you even try. But you can do one thing at a time. They leveled off those hilltops, and they stripped that earth right down. And once they've stolen all they can, they're off to kill another town. He finds himself a broken mountain and buys 1 acre at a time. Hopes to get it all paid off and reclaimed before he dies. You can't do it all yourself, so don't you even try. You can do one thing at a time. One tiny life, one broken wing, one hungry soul, one song to sing. You can't do it all, makes you wanna cry. Oil spills out in the Gulf and coats that seagull's wings. They'd rather pay the penalties for the profit black gold brings. One tiny heart beats in her hands. She scrubs the tar away. 100 more may die tonight, but this one flies away. You can't do it all yourself, so don't you even try. You can do one thing at a time. You can't do it all yourself, so don't you even try. You can do one thing. You gotta do something, yeah. You can do one thing at a time. So, once upon a time, this voice showed up in my head, and she turned out to be a bard who had a curse on her. The curse was no one could remember her name, which totally sucks if this is how you make your living. Just saying. So she made a deal with the dragon. The dragon would give her a name that was most memorable, and in exchange, she had to spend one night with the dragon. The dragon got to take whatever he wanted. Well, he had a toe fetish, and Nine Toes the Bard was born. The story fell in my head. I wrote it out. I wound up writing a song about it. 10 months later, after the story, after the song, I wound up in a hospital in St. Louis, and I lost a toe. So, ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce you to Nine Toes the Bard. There once was a bard with one hell of a curse. Her memory was sharp, she'd recite every verse. The strings they tuned true and her drum did the same, but no one remembered her name. Oh, no one remembered her name. She'd hold their attention all night in a bar. Her voice held them captive, her tales took them far, but they'd ne'er call her back. Whoa, and that was a shame, 'cause no one remembered her name. Oh, no one remembered her name. They'd all sing, there goes bard. There goes the bard. The stories of the clever have fingers were deft. We drank all the ale until there was none left. She was lovely and managed our every request. We'd love to have her back, guy. It's a shame we can't remember her name. No, we can't remember her name. Well, that bard made a living. She could have done worse, but she could have done better. And all for that curse, the ticket to increase her fortune and fame. My folks must remember her name. Oh, they must remember her name. She traveled due north and she traveled down south. She searched for some magic to rub that spell out. But as she traveled, the story's the same. No one remembered her name. No one remembered her name. They'd all sing, there goes the bard. There goes the bard. If the local boys tossed her about in their beds, they'd remember their toes curled, how they lost their heads, her cello-shaped hips, all their fantasies fed. They remembered her bosom and her red curly mane, but they couldn't remember her name. No, they couldn't remember her name. Now, every good bardic tale needs a couple of things to make it a great bardic tale. It needs a key change, and it needs a dragon. That's right. 'Twas a dragon was said that might ruin her curse, if that lecherous lizard didn't ruin her first. The bard sought him out and said, baby, I'm game, if folks will remember my name. Oh, if they'll remember my name. I'll fix your dilemma, the dragon spoke true. You'll sleep with me this night, and I'll take my due. The bard steeled herself and stepped into that flame, all for the want of a memorable name. And the dragon said, come here, me bard. Come here, me bard. I'll not singe your eyelashes, nor nip at your nose. My particular fetish. Look at those toes. I think that I'd like a percentage of those. Oh, yes, they'll remember your name. Oh, yes, they'll remember your name. Well, that dragon, he leered with those lizardly eyes. So don't worry, I flame to cauterize. He lunged for her feet without any foreplay, and the bard fainted dead away. Oh, the bard fainted dead away. Now, this is a PG-13 rating show, so I'll not be going into any detail as to what actually transpired there between that nasty old dragon and that passed out bard. But that bard, she gave full consent before she passed out, I'm just saying. Well, she woke in the morning. The dragon was gone. Feeling a kilter, something was wrong. Now she didn't feel used and she didn't feel cheap. Well, something was missing. She lifted the sheets. It's a good thing I don't play guitar with my feet, but I think they'll remember my name. Oh, yes, they'll remember my name. And now everywhere she goes, you know they all sing, 9 toes the bard, 9 toes the bard. Her stories are clever, her fingers are swift, her rhythm is spot on, she's got quite the gift. She plays with the boots off and walks with the limp. She's 9 toes the the bard. Aye, she's 9 toes the bard. Now there's a dragon who treasures at one toe on ice, and a bard who is willing to sacrifice a piece of her soul. SOLE, see what I did there? It's a pun. For the sake of her art. And we all remember her name. Oh, we all remember her name. Aye, she's 9 toes the bard. 9 toes the bard. 9 toes the bard. Everybody take a deep breath. If you've been singing along, you're gonna need it. 9 toes the bard. My goodness me. The Red King said, the moon isn't mine. The Blue King said 'tis not. They gathered troops and armor, the finest could be bought. And as they camped the days ahead, the bard she listened well to the hearts of every man, so she could truly tell the tale. Why do we teach our sons and daughters, oh, what their hearts are for? Then battle for the moon and march them off to war. The bard had seen such bloodshed in her fine young life. She saw no glory in this war and wanted no one to die. She could not fight for peace, you know, that battle's never won. So she asked her God and Goddess, what else could be done? Aye, up she drew the mother and down she drew the stars. And in she drew her breath to still a trembling heart. Her gods had gifted her with song, she knew what she must do, and she slept upon the field that night beneath the bright full moon. Why do we teach our sons and daughters, oh, what their hearts are for? Then battle for the moon and march them off to war. 1,001 men to her left, the same upon her right. She sang that sun up in the sky. She sang with all her might. She sang love lost and love that won. And all the while she played, not a man did cross her, no, not a man lifted his blade. And when the sun had settled and she lay down for the night, she knew there were 2 angry kings still itching for a fight. The second morning, like the first, she did what she must do. And though her throat was ragged, her voice, it rang out true. Why do we teach our sons and daughters, oh, what their hearts are for? Then battle for the moon and march them off to war. Aye, on she sang through waning moon, and as the nights grew dark, her voice was all she had to keep those kings apart. She never saw the men who wept and left the front for home. She only saw those standing as the moon began to grow. 28 days she sang, and the bard could do no more. And with heavy hearts and God's release. She left them to their war. She watched each slay the other, till no one stood, not even kings. Her tears ran freely like their blood. I've changed not one damned thing. But one man stood beside her, once warrior, now free. I'll not lift my blade again, lass, nah. You've changed the world for me. Why do we teach our sons and daughters, oh, what their hearts are for, then battle for the moon and march them off to war? Why do we teach our sons and daughters, oh, what their hearts are for, then battle for the moon? Why do we battle for the moon? We battle for the moon and march them off to war. I can't leave you without a little bit of humor. And it's a true story. All my songs are true stories. Haven't you figured that out yet? Even if I did write them before that happened. Though this one is inspired by very true events. The first time that I passed that kilted laddie on the corner, I thought I heard a bell ring. And then I thought of it no more. The second time I passed that kilted laddie on the corner, I thought I heard a bell ring. But I couldn't say for sure. Every day that week as I stepped across the street, I saw that kilted laddie, heard a bell as clear as day ringing in my head. And that laddie, he was smiling shy and I so sweetly, and I thought I heard him say, ring it once, me laddie, and make her look, me laddie. Ring it twice to win her smile on her way. Ring it thrice for true love, all is everlasting. And if you want to keep her, you'll ring it every day. He looked at me, his eyes so green, he took my hands in his. And then I heard that bell go mad, oh, you know I did. I said, did you just hear that? He said, won't you hear me, lass? A bell, it rings every time I pass. I pass you on this corner, and I hear that ringing sound. And he said, I hear bells, lass, whenever you're around. I looked into his eyes, and I was under his sweet spell. I thought I heard him singing softly to himself. Ring it once, my laddie, and make her look, my laddie. Ring it twice to win a smile on her way. Ring it thrice for true love, old as everlasting. And if you want to keep her, you will ring it every day. We met for tea and coffee, then we brunched, and then we picnicked. The conversations lingered and grew deeper over time. His kisses were delicious, and his touch was so electric. And every moment with him, I heard that sweet bell chime. Till the night when all our clothes fell off, and oh, they fell off quick, and I saw it for the first time, that bell dangling from his. Did you know how much I loved you from the first time that I saw you? 'Tis a family tradition, and no some parlor trick. My father and his father and his father's father too, been blessed by the wee folk with this little spell. We ring it out for true love, so you know that I am true love. And if you be me bride, I will love you well. I saw him in his glory with that little bell dangling. It was hard. It was hard to look away. I see a laddie, and I I hear you, laddie, and I believe you, laddie, and this is what I say. Ring it for me, laddie, ring it for me, laddie, ring it twice to keep the smile upon my face. Ring it thrice for true love, and you know I love you, laddie, and if you want to keep me, you'd best ring it every day. Ring it once, me laddie, and make her look, me laddie. Ring it twice to win her smile on her way. Ring it thrice for true love, all that's everlasting. And if you want to keep her, you'll ring it every day. Aye, if you want to keep her, you will ring it every day. So there I was, standing at the back of the Great Hall after my set, cooling down because it was hot, you know what's insane. And I'm standing all by myself. Nobody's watching me. They're watching the next band playing. And here he comes, this very tall, very fine, very young, but old enough, very inebriated lad, all kilted like, you know. And he comes staggering up to me and he starts hitting on me. And I finally stopped him. I said, sweetheart, I said, you're beautiful. And this is quite an honor. I said, but I'm old enough to be your grandma. He says, you're really hot for grandma. I said, child, I said, you need to sit down before you fall down. He says, wait, I got something to show you. And there in the back of that great hall, he starts lifting his kilt, which he is wearing properly. And there at the end of everything the gods have ever gifted a man is a piercing and a bell. And he is ringing that bell with no hands. He's got one hand holding out the kilt, the other one is pointing, and he says, oh, and the bell's going mad, by the way. And he says, you should write a song about that. So I am Mama Gina, and just remember the next time you do something crazy at festival, if I'm there, I might write a song about you. Please be well, stay well, be kind. This is a crazy world we're living in right now, and we can do something, all of us, just one little tiny thing to make it better. Thank you so much for joining me this evening. Have a beautiful festival, and I will see you in real life down the road.
This is how it starts with a heart. She might be broken, oh, but she ain't standing still. This is how it starts with a heart. Her power spoken in a world that needs her will. This is how it starts with a heart that keeps on beating. When life is tough. This is how it starts with a heart. Ain't no retreating, and she is more than enough. This is how it goes. She knows what the world's been needing, and all the shit that's on the way. This is how it goes. She knows what needs her healing. She ain't one to run away. This is how it goes. She knows mind, body, soul. Universe is in her grip. Break it down, watch it grow. She gonna love it whole. Never let it slip. Baby, don't flip. Her heart's wide open. Survival's all you know. Love and kindness. She's got the remedy. She'll love you whole. This is how it starts with a heart. This is how it starts with a heart. This is how it starts with a heart. And she's just waiting for you to say yes with your own. This is how it starts with a heart. She might be broken, Oh, but she ain't standing still. This is how it starts with a heart. Her power spoken in a world that needs her will. This is how it starts with a heart that keeps on beating. Oh, when life is tough. This is how it starts with a heart. Ain't no retreating. And she is more than enough. Her heart's wide open. Survival's all you know. Love and kindness. She's got the remedy. She'll love you whole. This is how it starts with a heart. This is how it starts with a heart. This is how it starts with a heart. And she's just waiting.